Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all very much for logging into today's webinar on the student experience. Today we have some of our fantastic students here to talk to you about their experiences as an iSchool student. So the way today's session is going to work is I'm going to ask them some questions and then they'll all take turns answering. And at the end or throughout the panel discussion, if you do have any questions, you can ask your questions through the chat or the question. Weird.
Well, I can hear you now.
Yeah? Oh, okay. That's weird. What happened? Okay, so I'm not muted. Now it's back. Oh, good. All right, and I'm not really sure what happened there. Okay, so again, I'm going to just reintroduce myself. My name is Andrea, and I'm the Recruitment and Admissions Officer for the Faculty of Information. Thank you all again very much for logging into today's webinar. So today, the way today's webinar is going to work is we have some of our fabulous students with us here today who have taken time out of their busy schedules to come and speak with you today. So thank you all very much for being here. And I am going to introduce them in a second. So throughout the presentation, what we are going to do is first I'll go through some of the questions that I have for them here, and they'll answer them. And if you do have any questions throughout the presentation, you are able to use your chat or your questions feature within the webinar, the GoToWebinar portal to ask those questions. So you can type them out. I will wait till the end of the panel discussion to bring up those questions and either for myself or any of the panelists, and hopefully we can get to all those questions then. If it is a personal question, I do ask that you save those questions, not ask them in this format, but you can send me an email and I'll provide you with that email address afterwards. You can send me an email to admissions.ischool@utoronto.ca if you do have any personal questions. Otherwise, definitely feel free to jot down those questions and ask either myself or the panelists throughout the presentation, and we'll answer them later. So we'll get started. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce our panelists. Here they are. Okay, so I guess we will go in order. So if you can all introduce yourselves, what your name is, your current program or concentration, your year level, and your academic background. And we can go in order. For all of the questions, we will go in order as listed on the screen. So Gail, Kathleen, Sydney, and Mary Frances.
Oh, hi, everyone. My name is Gail Gerbin, and I'm in the Master of Information program, and my concentration is Library and Information Science. I'm in my third year in the part-time program. And my undergraduate degree, I studied business as well as marketing and public relations.
Great. Kathleen?
Hello, everyone. My name is Kathleen Backe. I'm a second year Master of Museum Studies student, and I did my undergraduate degree in Mediterranean studies, ancient Mediterranean studies with minors in history and women and gender studies.
Hi, my name is Sydney Stipe. I am a CRO student, so I am both in the Master of Information and the Master of Museum Studies program with a concentration in LIS. I am a first year, and my undergraduate degree is in sport management.
Okay, hi everybody. My name is Mary Frances Turk. I am a first year student in the Master of Information Studies program. I am Archives and Records Management concentration, and my undergrad is in Archaeology and Cultural Studies.
Great, welcome. Thank you again very much for participating in today's panel. I think you guys are awesome students, but I could just be biased. So our next question, why did you choose the iSchool? And we'll go in the same order.
Hi, everyone. This is Gail. So the reason why I chose the iSchool. So I thought the Master of Information degree was very intriguing in that it combines the studies of information, people, and technology, and how they all intersect and interact, and how specialized knowledge bridging these three areas are so relevant across all industries, giving you really a competitive edge. I also like the fact that there's so much flexibility in the program to pursue your study interests. As you know, there are 7 concentrations as well as collaborations as well. Yes? Hello? Hello?
I'm not sure if we lost Gail. Can everyone still hear me?
Hello?
I can hear both of you.
Okay.
Yeah, I can.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yeah. Okay, perfect.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Am I back?
Yes.
I was about to redial in. Okay, so I'm good?
Yes, perfect.
Okay. So I think the last thing I was saying was that the program is very flexible, so you can really tailor the program to suit your study interests. So all in all, that's why I chose the iSchool.
Perfect. Thank you.
So hi, it's Kathleen again. Actually had a pretty difficult time choosing which museum studies program to go to. There's some college programs in Ontario as well, but I think the reason I decided to come to the iSchool was I believed a master's program was really an option that would open more doors, or at least keep more options open for me. And now that I've been through almost my whole degree, it's really let me explore a lot of museum topics and resources and connections that I didn't know were available before I came to the iSchool. I have many interests in the museum field, and this program really offers a range of classes that I didn't find with the other programs. And there's a nice blend of practical and theoretical in the program, so I really liked that aspect as well. And I was really drawn to the idea of, in second year, you don't have to do a thesis to complete your master's degree, and there's also the option to do an exhibition project, which I'm currently doing. However, it doesn't have to be an exhibition if that's not something that you're interested in. There's people doing projects on education and public programming, collections, assignments, and other things that are definitely they're interested in. So again, like Gail was saying, even in the Master's in Museum Studies program, it's fairly flexible with what you want to do. So I think that was one of the biggest reasons I decided to come here.
It's Sydney again. I'm actually from the States, and when I was looking at different grad schools, I originally was looking at sports management, but I decided I wanted to do something broader and eventually found this program. And because the CRO program is its only kind in North America, I thought it was really unique, and it's such a well-known university, and the iSchool has such a great reputation. And I definitely agree. I'm particularly a hockey fan, and I've been able to pursue my passion of hockey through the iSchool, and all my professors are incredibly supportive of it, and it just gives you this opportunity to really do what you want to do and to pursue your passion. So that was my big thing for choosing the iSchool.
Yeah, okay, so it's Mary Frances. I think the other three panelists said it pretty well. I definitely chose this program based on its flexibility. Choosing one concentration was really difficult. I'm super interested in culture and technology, as well as critical information policy. So having the opportunity to take classes in different concentrations, or even explore the opportunity of potentially combining them, is definitely what made me choose the iSchool.
Great, thank you. So the next question, what has been your most rewarding moment at the iSchool so far?
Hi, everyone. This is Gail. The most rewarding moments for me have been the opportunities to get involved at the iSchool. And that's outside of the incredible learning opportunities. There are really a lot of opportunities to get involved. And since year one of when I started the program, I've participated in student information and orientation fairs, and engaging with potential students to really spread positive word about the program and to share my experiences, because I've had a lot of really great experiences. So I guess for me, one of the most rewarding moments was actually being thanked by potential students that I've actually met at prospective student information fairs. And then the following year, them remembering me, and then also sitting in the same classes as these students. So I was really pleased that they decided to apply, because it is a great program. So the opportunity to support the iSchool in this way has been really rewarding for me. So yeah, so that's my moment.
Yay.
So hi, it's Kathleen again. So I've been involved in the Museum Studies Student Association, which is kind of our student council for Museum Studies students, in both my first year and again in this year. So this year I took on the position as social chair, and together with the president and vice president, we decided that we were going to take a different approach to student council than in previous years. So we really wanted MUSA to focus on helping foster a sense of community within the Master of Museum Studies program, and to help students like forge connections with museum professionals and outside the classroom. So we organized many events and trips to make this happen. And I actually found out late in the fall semester that a faculty member had nominated the three of us for the Gordon Cressy Student Leadership Award. And we just found out yesterday that we'll all be receiving that award in April. So I think that's been the most rewarding experience so far, getting involved. Working in classes, working hard in classes is necessary in the master's program, but you'll only get the most out of the program if you participate and get involved and forge strong relationships with like fellow students and faculty. It's really made the 2 years I've had here very rewarding.
Awesome.
It's Sydney. Probably I have kind of two things that pop into my head. And the first is all of the friends that I've made just through all of the things that I've been involved in, and even just through classes and volunteering at information fairs. It's so great to get to know so many people, especially those that I might not necessarily get to have classes with because they're different concentrations. But it's been so great to just meet so many really cool people from different backgrounds and to learn from them. And then probably my own personal rewarding moment was last week. We have the iSchool Student Conference where students get to present on panels or individually about different things that they've worked on throughout the year. And so I got to present some original research that I had done about the information behavior of sports fans. So going and presenting in front of my fellow students and the faculty and alumni was a really cool experience, and it's a great way to share what you're doing with your fellow students and to just learn different things from different people as well.
Okay, so it's Mary Frances. I think similar to Sydney, the most rewarding part for me so far, considering it's only my second semester, first year, has definitely been my ability to make connections with the archiving community. So being in the archives concentration, I've tried really hard to attend a lot of the networking events. I'm part of the student chapter, the ACA student chapter here, so the Association of Canadian Archivists. So just being able to really kind of connect with alumni, people that are working out in the field, making friends with similar interests, and being able to participate in organizing different events and that sort of thing has definitely been, I think, the most rewarding part for me.
Awesome. And I would like to add that all of our panelists today have been so helpful with all of our iSchool events. So thank you all very much for always helping out and doing such a great job. I just want to put that in there. So next, we talked about your most rewarding moment, but there's always challenges in everything that we do. So what has been the most challenging moment so far?
Hi, everyone. It's Gail again. So in terms of challenging moments, I think the most challenging thing for me has been maintaining a balance. Outside of the classroom, there's so many learning and networking opportunities, and the challenge is trying to fit everything into my schedule. So, for example, some of the things that have been available to me and that are available to us as students are there are many opportunities and events hosted by the iSchool, such as iSchool workshops. And if you don't know what those are, they're actually free and they're included in your tuition. And some examples, there are workshops related to career preparation, such as resume, cover letter, interview workshops. And there's some that are more technical in nature, such as 3D printing, maker spaces, HTML, SPSS, those types of things. And also outside the iSchool, but within U of T, there are also networking events and other student learning opportunities that you'll hear about through email, which you need to stay on top of, I found. And like, for example, I recently attended a workshop held at the Map and Data Library to learn a GIS, Geographic Information Systems platform called ArcGIS. So there are so many also professional association events and learning opportunities. So maintaining a balance and choosing priorities can be challenging. And if you're like me, you kind of want to do them all. So I guess that is my most challenging thing about the program.
Hi, everyone. It's Kathleen again. I would 100% agree with Gail. I think, though, overall, my most challenging moment was probably first semester, first year. I came right out of my undergrad where I was very comfortable into the master's program. So it took a bit of adjustment and for me to get my footing in the program. Like Gail said, there's assignments, and I had student council responsibilities and social events and volunteering opportunities, which I had to try to find how to balance. My agenda has become my lifeline, especially this year, as well as I took on a little bit more responsibility and have more group projects, and I'm getting more involved. So yeah, I think it's just finding out how to balance everything you want to do and how to schedule and time management.
This is Sydney. That's basically everything that I have to say. The scheduling can be difficult. I took about a year and a half off in between graduating from undergrad and coming to the iSchool. So it's definitely just a challenge because there is so many things that you want to do, and between internships and work and wanting to socialize, it can get a little overwhelming. But I do live and breathe by a planner that counts down everything by the hour so that I know what I'm doing. And I do like to stay busy, but sometimes it can be a little overwhelming, especially this semester with information workshops, which is basically an extra class because 2 of the classes are 6 weeks. So it all kind of moves very quickly.
Yeah, I think the other 3 panelists summarized it pretty well. A challenge for me has definitely been creating balance and time management. I tend to want to do everything and all at once, so kind of signing up for too many things that overlap kind of creating a schedule that's just impossible. So my first semester was definitely challenging in terms of trying to remind myself to prioritize, do the things that are most important for me, the things that will be most beneficial. And going into this second semester, I'm trying to teach myself to use a calendar agenda a little bit better to try and stay a little bit more organized. And really, I think just for me, time management, really just trying to stay organized, making sure that I'm not taking on too much, because there definitely is an adjustment period, as was said by Kathleen. I also came into this degree right after my undergrad degree. So I think just really kind of building a schedule that suits your needs and what you're capable of doing.
Great. That's all fabulous advice. What is so the next question, what is a day in the life of an iSchool student look like? So give us an idea of your class schedule, involvement in clubs, workshops, co-op, internships, jobs, volunteer work, social life, etc. And I know some of you have already kind of touched on this a little, but yeah, if there's anything else that you would like to add.
Hi, everyone. It's Gail again. Okay, so that's a big question because we're also very busy. As a part-time student, the maximum number of courses you can take is 2 per term. So currently I am taking the 2 courses, which takes pretty much 2 full days out of my week to attend class and to commute, which depending on the day can take up to 2 hours. Currently, I participate at the iSchool as a student mentor. And as mentioned, I volunteer at student information events to speak about my experiences in the program. In terms of time outside of class, there is a heavy focus on group work. Usually, in my experience, I've had at least 1 or 2 group assignments per class, as well as the workshops we mentioned that you can attend. The iSkills, sorry, there's 2 different things. There's the iSkills workshops as well as the actual workshops, which are a half credit each. So yeah, the just attending all the time it takes to attend these different things outside of class, it adds into the hours in your week as well. And as I mentioned, there's different workshops you can choose from. In terms of work, I do a lot of multitasking, including working on a contract right now with Rotman Commerce, as well as the Scarborough and Rouge Hospital Foundation as a researcher. And these are both opportunities I'm so grateful to have received through the support of people from the iSchool. So I'm really appreciative of that. And on the side, I also work at various events through the year as an events assistant at the Outdoor Show, the National Franchise Show, and the National Women's Show, which are held annually at the Metro Toronto Convention Centre and in Mississauga. So all of my days are really quite busy, especially with also having a family and managing coursework. But in terms of social, I try to, get out and see family and friends as much as I can. Usually probably not till the weekends, but I'm literally always on the go, and I belong to a running club, so that's my outlet. And I'm currently training for hopefully my next marathon.
Oh, that's great.
So hi, it's Kathleen again. As far as I know, the Master's of Museum Studies program is full-time. So you have to take 4 classes a semester, and there's some mandatory classes as well as electives. The time periods are typically for classes are 9 to noon, 1 to 4, and 6:30 to 9:30 are the typical ones in museum studies. And there is some freedom in your scheduling other than obviously the mandatory classes that you have to take. So in first year, I only had classes 3 days a week. And then this year in the fall, I had classes 2 days a week. And then this semester, again, 3 days a week. So it does leave quite a bit of time to do group projects, readings, class assignments, volunteering, social things. Again, it's all just about scheduling and balancing. Yeah, I was more involved this year as social chair, so planning social events for the Museum Studies Student Association and having to go to those events because I was planning them and organizing them. But also taking advantage of iSchool workshops, and I also attended the iSchool conference, which Sydney was talking about earlier, and In my first year, I played volleyball with the Graduate Students Union League, which was a good outlet. This year, I didn't have time for it, but I like to get out with friends and do some social things. I spend like most of my time at the iSchool, but yeah, it's all just about scheduling and balancing what you want to do with your time.
Yeah, so my class schedule is a little different because of the information workshops. So they are each half a credit, and so you take one for 6 weeks, and then you take the other for 6 weeks. And so I used to have class 4 days a week, and now I only have it 3 days a week. But I have found that I do an internship at the Hockey Hall of Fame Resource Center in Etobicoke, so it's about 30 minutes from where I live. So it does take up a little bit of time, but it's really fun to do internships and volunteer in things that you're passionate about. And I do find time to socialize with friends, but I think it was difficult, especially as I was moving to Toronto and I had never lived in Canada before. So a lot of it for me was figuring out the city itself. So I think that took some time for me to figure out what I was doing. But yeah, it's a lot of work, and I spend a lot of time in the Inforum working and doing group projects. And I was a former student athlete, so I definitely use exercise as a way to kind of de-stress, and I always try to prioritize that because it always makes life easier when you get a little bit of exercise in your life.
Yeah, I think my daily schedule is hard to define. I think your schedule changes quite a bit, just depending on what's going on with school, different things that you're signing up for. So, kind of an overview. I have class Mondays through Wednesday. So I try and keep those days specific for school-related things. So spending time on campus, getting homework done, getting assignments done. Um, just because I know that once the weekend comes around, I'll be caught up in doing a lot of different things. So ideally, I get everything done Monday through Wednesday. Usually not the case, but that's usually how I try and frame my week. I work off campus, kind of unrelated to school. So I work at a restaurant, usually Thursday, Friday, Saturday, when it's not busy at school, and then Friday, Saturday when it starts to pick up. So that kind of gives me a little bit of break from doing school-related things. It's also a way for me to socialize with people outside of the school environment. And then within that kind of week, I fill in time slots with whatever I can. So, like I mentioned, I'm part of the ACA, so the Association of Canadian Archivists Student Chapter here at U of T. So they meet on a monthly basis. And they also have frequent events that I like to try and attend as much as possible. I try and attend conferences to listen to papers, though I haven't yet had the opportunity to speak at one, hopefully next year. And then I think just other things, volunteering at info days like this, or on weekends, volunteering at different archives. I helped out a little bit at the Royal Canadian Yacht Club this year. So just finding times, I think your routine changes just based off of whatever it is you're doing. So it's hard to define definitely one specific day. I usually try and plan out a week at a time.
Great, thank you. As you can see, all of our students are very busy. So I really do, again, appreciate them taking the time to chat with us today. And final question before I do open it up to all of you with any questions that you might have. Can you please provide one piece of advice for potential applicants or students?
Hi, everyone. It's Gail again. So in terms of advice, I guess this is something that I learned through the program as well. And my advice is academically, you have everything you need, like once you get into the program, so to do well, to be successful. So my advice is don't stress about the mark you will achieve, but take your time while in the program and use it as a learning opportunity and expose yourself to as many learning opportunities as you can. For example, I never would have thought I would have taken a course in GIS and but I'm learning so much that I never knew before. Yeah, so expose yourself to as many learning opportunities, and above all, as we mentioned, do your best to focus on maintaining a balance across all the areas of your life. It's not easy, and I'm still trying to work on that myself. Yeah, so that's my advice.
Great.
So hi, it's Kathleen again. Mine's kind of along the same lines. I say relax and trust yourself. You have to be confident in yourself because the MMST program is challenging. And get involved in whatever ways you feel comfortable. I've never participated in student council before my master's degree, but I've really jumped in, and iSchool provides many opportunities, but you'll only have the most rewarding experience if you take advantage of the resources that are provided to you here.
Yeah, absolutely. I would definitely say that what's great about the clubs at the iSchool is that you can be as involved as you want to, or you can just attend monthly meetings. You know, they love you to contribute in any way that's flexible for your schedule. So we have a kind of a job fair, or like an info fair for all of our clubs and everything at the beginning of the year. So I would sign up for all of those because there are so many great opportunities, and it's just a great way to get to know so many different people within the faculty.
Yeah, I think similar along those lines is just take advantage of what the program has to offer. There are so many different things happening, workshops, networking events, conferences, different associations. And I think it's really important to be able to get involved in those things. They're made available to us. They're designed for students like us. So definitely just, going out, finding the things that you find most interesting and participating in those, I think is super important and really beneficial for the learning experience, considering this is a professional degree. And so just making the most out of your degree.
Great. Well, that was fabulous advice. Thank you very much. Those are all the questions that I have for our panelists. So if you do have any questions for them, please feel free to send them through the questions or the chat feature through your GoToWebinar. And hopefully we'll be able to answer those questions for you during today's session. So just wait, I guess, to see if any questions come in. Is it manageable to work part-time, so 20 hours per week, and continue with full-time studies? Does anybody want to tackle that one?
This is Mary Frances. I can answer that maybe. Just because I do work part-time, and it's a job that's off campus. So I think the expectations sometimes are a little bit different. I tend to work on average 15 hours a week. I did try a little bit more my first semester. For me, that was a little bit difficult, just because I think I was adjusting to course load and getting to know the city since I'm not from Toronto. But I think the most important part is just having a work environment that's understanding of your commitment to school. So luckily, I kind of fluctuate between how many hours I work. At the beginning of the semester, where it's not so busy, I can take on a few more extra hours. And then I just communicate to my boss during midterms and finals that I kind of need to drop down to something closer to 10 hours a week. I think it also just depends on what you're used to. And I think some people are capable of managing more hours than others, just depending on your work ethic. I tend to be a little bit of a procrastinator, so working on the weekend makes things a little bit more difficult. But yeah, I definitely think it's about being able to communicate to whoever you're working with and your bosses, and just kind of creating a schedule that's convenient for both of you.
And also what you can do is you can start off in the program full-time. And if you feel like it's too much, you can always switch to part-time afterwards and vice versa, or start, you know, in part-time and switch to full-time afterwards. So that is also an option for you. So another question that came in. Hi, everyone. Thanks for taking the time to answer questions today. My question is, how and when do we find out about clubs and organizations we can join on campus?
I think it's very easy to find out about it. I mean, every week, both the Master of Information and Master of Museum Studies programs send out emails letting you know what's going on during the week. They're posted all throughout the Bissell building and the Forum, and you hear from it on Facebook. And really, it's impossible to not hear about everything going on in the iSchool.
I think orientation is also a good time to come to the iSchool to get introduced to everything. There's also an information, like a club's information day near the beginning of the semester in September, where most of the clubs will set up a booth to inform students about what they were doing and what positions need to be filled and stuff like that.
I found that the main method of communication is through emails, so stay on top of your emails because everything is always usually there.
Yes, I would agree with that as well, yeah.
We send a lot of emails, sorry.
Yeah.
Anybody else have any other questions? Hi, everyone. Are any of the panelists writing a thesis? If so, do you have any advice?
Nope.
I'm not
say that's a no.
I'm not writing one.
I know.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I know in the Master of Museum Studies, I'm not sure which degree you're looking to get into, but I know that they have information sessions in the beginning of the fall semester to talk to professors and any students who are doing thesis option, because it's not too common in the museum strain. I think it's like 5 to 10% do a thesis, but yeah, and the thesis people are always very excited to talk to you about their thesis journey.
They are definitely, and I could, and it's similar for the MI program. Not very many students, just in general, take on the thesis option. But if you like to send me an email afterwards, you could do that, and I can try and get you in touch with somebody who is working on a thesis who can hopefully answer some questions as well. So another question. Hi, everyone. What are your plans career-wise for when you finish the program?
I guess I'm almost done. I'll be finished in April. So currently I'm looking for jobs in the museum field. I've had a few interviews for some full-time internships and stuff. I hopefully getting a job in the museum field, I think, is the goal. But yeah, just continuing on professional development and always learning. I think I'll be a lifelong learner, and I think that's important coming out of the iSchool, trying to just gain on the skills that you've been building through your time here.
I would also agree. The lifelong learning component, as I mentioned, there are so many different learning opportunities. So I'm using this as a way to just learn as much as I can while in the program. And the LIS concentration, there are really so many different options, you know, not only with libraries, but also there's a special libraries section as well. And one of the roles I'm doing right now is I'm working at a foundation as a prospect researcher. And you would never know that that it's a growing field, and employers are looking for people that have LIS skills. So for me, there are really lots of different potential opportunities going in terms of the LIS concentration and where that can lead.
Great. Anyone else want to add anything before I move to the next question?
Yeah, definitely for me, I'm very passionate about hockey, and I'd like to work at the Hockey Hall of Fame eventually. So that's kind of my major goal. So what I've done, if you really do have your mind set on what you want to do, definitely reach out to them. Like, I reached out to them the first month that I was in Toronto, and establish those networks and relations as soon as you can. And then eventually, if they are hiring, they're going to look for you instead of looking for maybe somebody that doesn't have experience. But I would definitely reach out as much as you can if you do have an idea. And if not, go try different things. I mean, that's what's the great thing about this program, is that you have the opportunity to try all these different things.
Yeah, I'm going to jump in and just say, because I have no idea yet. I'm very much uncertain of where exactly I'm going to go after this. So I think, like what Sydney said, though, is just network and talk to people and try new things. I've learned about so many different career options and possibilities through this program, despite not knowing exactly what I want to do. So I definitely think that's important.
And also, I wanted to add, if you don't know exactly what you want to do, there is something at the iSchool that happens every year, and it happens like around the springtime. There are job shadowing opportunities. So if there's a certain area you're interested in, you could job shadow a professional for half a day or a day, depending on the employer, and we'll show you what it's like and what they do. And you can use that as a way to determine if that's a good fit for you.
Great, yeah, thanks for that. So the next question, does anyone have some insight on what co-op is like at the iSchool? Any advice or learns you've had? I'm not sure if any of you are doing co-op.
Unfortunately, with the CRO program, you aren't able to do the co-op program just because you have to fulfill so many requirements in such a short amount of time.
So what's really good about the iSchool is there's so many experiential learning opportunities built into the program other than co-op. So co-op is definitely a great option, but there's so many other options that are available as well. So what you would do at the beginning of the year, usually in September, you would meet with our career advisor. We're also very lucky to have our own career advisor. His name is Alex House, and you would meet with him and you would talk about what are the best options for you, because co-op isn't for everybody. So for example, say you already have tons and tons of work experience, or you might want to work on a specific project. There might be other elements of the program that might be better suited for you than a co-op. Whereas, for example, co-op is very structured. So you're working you're studying for 2 terms, working for 2 terms, and studying for 2 terms. There's not much flexibility in that schedule. That's kind of the way the structure works when you're doing the co-op option. Whereas if you're doing a practicum, for example, it's not as structured as a co-op would be in that respect. And the main difference between the co-op and the practicum is the practicum, you're still working for a company, but they provide us with specific job proposals that you get to choose from. So you get to work on a specific project for that specific company. Whereas a co-op, you're working for a company doing whatever that company needs you to do, basically. And so you might decide that maybe an internship is better for you than a co-op or a practicum. So again, you would discuss those options with the career advisor when you do start the program and find out what the best pathway for you would be. Hi, everyone. Thank you for answering my questions. How much of the MI program is practical assignment or project-based versus theory-based?
Yeah, it's a good question. I definitely a lot of, I'm only in my 2nd semester, so the first semester was definitely a lot of theory, creating that background of knowledge that I think is super necessary. It's definitely something that comes up a lot in conversations that I have with other students. I think a lot of people come in thinking there's going to be a lot of practical kind of components to the program, which there are, but I think it's also important to highlight that there is a critical amount of theoretical background that you need to kind of be able to obtain this degree. What I've noticed is I am doing things that are a little bit more hands-on this semester than I did last semester, but I think the practical stuff is also kind of up to you as a student to obtain that experience through what's offered at the iSchool. So going to workshops, you know, those types of things, I think is where the practical comes in, based off of my first year here anyways. That's what I would say, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else want to jump in, or is that good?
Yeah, I think it is a lot. There's a lot of theory-based parts of this program, but what's nice is that, I know I keep talking about these information workshops, but what's great about those courses is that they are very oriented towards doing something besides writing a paper, and so they really do a great job of being a little more specific and being a little more creative. So I'm currently in one that's called Deconstructing the Book, where we're literally going to make a book. So there are quite a few of those practical opportunities, but especially in my first year, I've noticed that it's been mostly theory-based.
Awesome. So the next question, how flexible is the part-time program? Are there evening classes? Would it be possible with a full-time job?
I can speak to that. Yes, it is possible to do the program if you're working full-time and doing the program part-time. I myself, and I know many others who are doing the same. There are courses that are offered in the evenings. Usually the time frame is 6:30 to 9:30. I've also noticed that there are courses that are offered online. Well, there is one course that's offered online this term, as well as there are some modular format courses, which happen, like for example, I took one last term where they compressed 12 weeks of work into 4 classes. So for example, on a Friday from 9 to 4. I've also seen classes on Saturdays that are also in modular format that are offered also in compressed format, maybe meeting 4 or 5 times instead of the usual 12. So yeah, so it definitely is possible.
Yeah, absolutely. So I just want to, typically classes are scheduled 3 times throughout the day. So either 9 to 12, 1 to 4, or 6:30 6:30 to 9. And so you, for the most part, would hopefully be able to kind of find times that are convenient for you. And as Gail said, the modular classes that are available, typically they're one Friday or one Saturday a month. And then you would meet usually online with maybe your group members or your professor during other times in between the times that you will meet, just to kind of check in and make sure everything is going well for you. What is the balance between doing projects and writing essays or papers in your experience?
I think it's a little I think it's a little bit of everything. I think there's been a great balance between kind of group projects, papers, you know, reports, that sort of thing. I think it also just depends on what kind of class you're taking, if it's kind of a theoretical background class or something that's focusing in on something specific. So I know like our first semester we got to, it's an introductory course, Archives, Issues, and Concepts, where we got to go and interview an archivist and then write a report on the interview. So that kind of thing happens too. I think it's a good balance. I think there's a lot of different opportunities. And even with essays, professors are really open to kind of gearing the essay topics that are of interest to you. So yeah.
Awesome.
I'm not sure if it was like an MI question or MMST, because I know they're a little different. But in case it's for MMST, I found first year was a little bit more essay report based, and my second year has been a lot more about group projects and writing group reports in a way. Again, it just depends on what classes you're taking, and yeah, the professors are pretty good about letting you explore research topics that are of interest to you as well. So you're not usually strapped down too much with what you can explore.
Great. Okay, so for so right now we don't have any other questions, so I think we'll wrap it up for today. I just want to thank our panelists again very much for taking the time to chat with all of us today. If you do have any other questions after we've logged off, the email address is up on your screen, so you can send us an email at admissions.iSchool@utoronto.ca, and we can hopefully answer your questions for you then. But thank you all again to our panelists, as well as to all of you who logged on to today's webinar. I hope you found it helpful, and we hopefully look forward to seeing you at the iSchool this fall.
Thank you, Andrea.
Thank
Thank you very much.
Thank you.